No, you're mad.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
What is up, YouTube? It's MrJuliusModz, and today I'm going to be starting the first episode of the series that I called Storytime. The reason why I'm going to try this out is because I recently posted on my community page a poll, and I noticed that a lot of you actually wanted to see that, so that kind of gave me the red flag that, okay, my subs want new content. So I decided to go ahead and give this a try. So this first little episode is going to be based on something that actually did happen, and the rest of my stories I'm going to tell you guys in the future are going to be real, so don't worry about me trying to make up some bullshit ass story to tell you guys. They're all going to be real stories, and I know that for sure one of them you guys are probably going to definitely want to hear, which is the how I lost my virginity one, because a lot of people make those videos and get a lot of views, and so I kind of feel like that eventually you guys are going to want to know my story behind that particular topic. But this topic today is gonna be just based on the day that I literally robbed someone. So this is pretty kind of funny how it happened. I wasn't alone whenever this happened. My best friend actually was with me. I'm not gonna use his real name just for the sake of the video, as well as you never know, the ops might be watching. So let me go ahead and get right to the story. So pretty much this is how it all went down. So me and my friend, we were teenagers, we were young, so me and him both were really into BMXing, which is biking. And if you can tell by the thumbnail, you might already guess what we stole and what was robbed and all that stuff. So me and him both had BMX bikes, right? He had just gave me a bike, and I was rough riding on my bike, and I kept popping my tires, blowing my inner tubes and shit out, because I kept riding over like parking lots and shit that had big ass like little dips on them and stuff. So yeah, so long story short, me and him were riding around together, and there's this guy that used to live in my trailer park. And now I recently moved over the years, so I don't live there anymore, but I used to live in a trailer park, and in that trailer park there was a guy, and he was actually a retired cop. And the reason why I know this was because my little cousin used to go to the school called Clifford, and at the school his wife worked there, and she recognized me from my cousin, and she had told me one day that her husband used to be a cop. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny how he used to be a retired cop, or how he used to be a cop and he's a retired cop now. But long story short, we pretty much robbed him, and he had two sons, and they had both just got new bicycles, right? And they were BMX bikes. And they were actually like little kids, like 10, 12ish. So they were young, and they had just got them bikes for Christmas, right? And literally not even a week after Christmas had passed, me and my best friend, we had actually thought, and we said, what, dude, like we could use some new bike parts, right? And we we're black people, so we didn't want to have go out and buy the parts. Obviously we wanted to just try and figure out a way to get them without having to spend any money, right? So me and my friend ended up planning out pretty much a heist. We called it a heist, right? So throughout this heist, we had planned out for two to 3 days. We were gonna try and go to this dude's house pretty much, and he always kept their bikes outside. We noticed that they weren't locked up or anything. They were sitting right by the porch. So long story short, me and him planned out for days how we're gonna do this, how we're gonna pull this off. And we eventually said, okay, you know what, fuck it, so we're gonna do it now. So me and him ended up doing it at like midnight. It was late at night, about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning ish, and it was on a weekday. And me and him had got our gear. We dressed up in all black pretty much. We brought our tools with us. We also brought flashlights, because we couldn't see at night. We didn't want to bring our phones, just in case we did get caught. So we just said leave the phones at my house, and we just took our flashlights. Okay, so we ended up making our way through the woods, because he lived up the hill from me, and where I used to live, I was surrounded by mostly forest. So we just took the forest to get to his house. And by the time we got to his house, we had laid down just to see what was going on outside of his house, because the dad was outside, the retired cop, he was outside. So we laid down prone pretty much like some Call of Duty ghillie suit shit, and we watched his dad for, their dad for a few minutes because we wanted him to go back inside so we can go and get the bikes from his house. So we ended up watching his dad, and we swore that his dad had a gun because we looked very close at his dad because his dad was talking to one of the neighbors, and me and my friend had made like a loud ass noise in the woods by accident, and we thought their dad was gonna try and shoot at the woods because maybe he thought that we were a deer. And we ended up seeing the gun he had a pistol, and we got scared, but we said screw it, we're gonna try and get the bikes anyways. So eventually their dad went back into the house, and then me and my friend made our way around the little trailers towards his trailer, right? And I was lookout, so I stayed in the back and I watched the porch, and I was watching around to make sure nobody else gonna come outside and see what we were doing. And my friend made his way towards the dude's house, and they had a porch that kind of set up high because it was a trailer. So my friend got under the porch and sat there for a minute and waited until it got quiet enough to go up to the porch. And not even like 5 minutes later, their dad lets out their poodle on the porch, right? And my friend told me whenever he got back to my house with the bikes, he was like, dude, I was so close to snapping that dog's neck. And I started laughing because, like, knowing him, he would have snapped the dog's neck because that dog was literally right above him. He was looking up at the porch and saw the dog walk outside. And then thankfully the dad came back outside and got the dog because I guess he wanted the dog to just use the bathroom pretty much. And then once he brought the dog back inside, my friend then made his way up to the porch and slowly started pulling the bikes off the porch. And I don't know how the dad didn't hear this or how the dad didn't see this or anybody else in the house didn't see this, but my friend literally pulled off both of the BMX bikes off the porch. And in the process of him doing that, I was waiting for him to bring me the bikes, and he brought me one bike and I held on to that bike, and then I got the other bike, and then me and him both started making our way back towards the woods until we can bring the bikes back to my house hidden so nobody saw us. And then once we got halfway back towards the woods, I heard a noise and I got scared, and I dropped the bike and I ran and I slipped and fell. And what's crazy is what I slipped and fell into. Still to this day, I'm glad I had gloves on because my hand somehow magically slid right through fresh dog shit pretty much. I still don't know how the hell I managed to run and fall and slide my hand right through dog shit, but somehow I managed to do that. But after that, we got up and we made our way through the woods. We got back to my house eventually. When we got back to my house, I noticed I had lost my keys, but thankfully I had extra keys in my room. But once we went to my house, my friend immediately got his tools out, started breaking down the bikes, stripping them. He got his bike down within like 5 minutes. I wasn't even halfway done with my bike because I was, scared because I didn't think if somebody saw us or not. He was like, come on, man, come on, get these bikes down. And he ended up taking 2 of the tires. He took the inner tubes for backup. And then he ended up taking also, I think, the chain off of one of them to have for a backup, as well as the handlebar grips. And then my bike that I had, we ended up taking that bike apart and then putting it back together because I only needed the inner tube. So what my friend ended up doing with the bikes afterwards was he took one of the bikes up the street towards the exit of the trailer park and then sat it next to the side of the road. And then he took the other bike and set it next to the dumpster because that bike was still pretty much functional, so it only needed inner tubes. And then the next day came around, my friend went home. That evening, this is the part that kind of had me scared because I was sitting outside working on my bike, checking it out because I was getting ready to ride it, and the retired cop drove past my house and stopped and said, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And I said, sure. And my heart immediately dropped. I got so scared. I thought, okay, this guy's on to me, I'm finna go to jail type shit. And I ended up getting in the car with him, and we drove around. We went towards his house looking for trying to find his kids' bikes pretty much. And we had like a little small conversation. He was like, yeah, man, I don't know who would have done this. I just bought those bikes. They were brand new. They were my kids Christmas present. And I immediately started feeling so bad, oh my god, why did I just do this? I felt like an asshole for for like a good 2 months, and I wanted to buy new bikes to give him back, but I was like, man, we already did this, so there's no point even trying to get new bikes for them. But me and the dad, we kind of talked for a while. He didn't know. Still to this day, they don't know that we did it. The police eventually did show up the next day, and my friend ended up talking to him instead of me, because he was better at talking to cops than I was. So we talked to the police officers, got our names cleared, so they weren't suspicious about us anymore. So we had gloves on, so they couldn't get fingerprints of us. So that's pretty much like the first story I wanted to share with you guys, was the day I pretty much robbed someone with my friend. And that story is pretty real, and I'm sure he's gonna see this video probably tomorrow, and I'll have him comment below as well. As still to this day, me and him talk about it, because it was so funny, how it started and how it ended, and how we pretty much finessed the retired cop as well as the police officers throughout that entire pretty much heist we pulled off. But if this is something you guys enjoy, this little episode, let me know in the comment section below, as I do have plenty of more stories to share with you guys that happened within my childhood, as well as stuff that happened recently. If you guys do enjoy it, let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. I do upload the latest modding content for Xbox 360, PS3, and soon to be PC again, as well as this little series right here that I'm gonna try and start if this video does well. It's been MrJuliusModz, and then I will see you all in my next